Hey and welcome, I'm Hammy. Bit of a different video today. We're jumping into Vice Admiral Alexei Stukov's hero voice lines and interactions he gets as a character in Heroes of the Storm. If you're an Overwatch fan, please do give this vid a go to learn a bit more about one of Blizzard's most iconic heroes, and let me know what you think, or click the playlist link below for my latest Overwatch videos. Before any game starts in Heroes and during the game on various triggers, heroes chat with and react to each other in some funny in-game voice interactions. These give us some great insights into hero character, interests and backstories. In this video, we're looking at Stukov's story through his interactions with fellow heroes, as well as discussing his lore and story in summary as an intro to the amazing lore of StarCraft. Timecodes are in the description below if you want to skip to the voice lines. In the StarCraft universe, around 450 years in the future and more than 60,000 light years from Earth, human colonists, known as the Terrans, fight for their survival amongst the stars in the Koprulu sector. The Terrans of StarCraft 1 are in actual fact descendants of a scientific experiment from Earth. What would happen if 40,000 prisoners, some with genetic modifications and mutations, were forced to start a new society? Many generations later, when the first great war between the descendants of these Terran colonists fought with Zerg and Protoss, Earth and its human population was still watching them, with the United Earth Dictatorate, the government of Earth at the time, sending a fleet to take the sector in its disarray. In the events of StarCraft Brood War, the expansion or continuation of StarCraft 1, Alexei Stukov, a Vice Admiral of the UED in his 40s, was sent with his lifelong friend Gerard Dugall to the Koprulu sector. Leaving their families behind, the two generals' plan was to take control of the Terran colonies, depose Emperor Arcturus Mengsk, take control of the Zerg through dominating its new controlling Overmind, and using the Zerg to pacify the Protoss. Lieutenant Morales, although she's not firmly in StarCraft canon entirely, was also apparently a member of this fleet. Suffice to say, the plan didn't entirely work out. On arriving in the sector and after some initial skirmishes, Stukov and Dugall accepted help of Samir Duran, a rebel against Mengsk's Terran Dominion government. Having fought their way through multiple Zerg, Protoss and Terran Dominion forces, they found an old Terran weapon, a Psi Disruptor that could render Zerg useless by disrupting their connection to their hive mind. Duran suggested they destroy it. Stukov decided that keeping it would ensure their victory over the Zerg, and even though Dugall disagreed, Stukov secretly reassembled it on the planet Braxis. This is featured in the Braxis holdout map in Heroes of the Storm. When Duran let a wave of Zerg through to prevent Stukov from seemingly fulfilling his mission to capture Mengsk on the Emperor's capital planet Tarsonis, this resulted in a furious quarrel between Stukov, Dugall and Duran. Duran accused Stukov of being a traitor, and even though Stukov had suspicions that Duran was working with the Zerg, Duran managed to persuade Dugall that Stukov had turned against him. Dugall dispatched Duran to find Stukov and execute him for treason against the UED. When Duran succeeded with this, Stukov told Dugall with his dying breath that Duran had been manipulating him all along and was most certainly infested by the Zerg. Now, Stukov's story could have ended there, but when his coffin was shot into space, a renegade Cerebrate, a lesser controlling being of the Zerg Overmind, infested him and raised him from the dead, looking for a human leader for a swarm to oppose Kerrigan, the Queen of Blades at this point. Artanis, leader of the unified Protoss, actually told Reyna that they may have found a cure, and wanted to administer this on Stukov. The United Forces fought through to administer the cure, which seemed to have worked. A recovered Stukov was given to the Mobius Foundation, who are a Terran human science group, to have the cure studied. Now, unfortunately, this was run by an Emil Narud, and if you turn that Narud around, it's Duran. This was Samir Duran in disguise. Now, Stukov's cure failed, he reverted to being infested, and Duran tortured him, doing experiments on him as he was trying to create Protoss-Zerg hybrids. These experiments ended up in just enhancing Stukov's abilities and power. Fast forward to the events of StarCraft 2, and Stukov escaped. He meets up with Kerrigan to warn her about Duran's hybrids, and fights alongside her in the conflicts of Heart of the Swarm and beyond. Duran is not all he seems to be, and Stukov has a shot at getting his revenge against him later on in the story. I won't say more as I don't want to spoil it in case you want to play StarCraft 2, and I really recommend that you do. StarCraft Remastered is out soon if you want to give a go to StarCraft 1 and Brood War again, and the originals are free to download and play. Hope you enjoyed the lore summary. Okay, on with the voice lines.
Keep your mind clear.
For those newer to Blizzard games with Overwatch or otherwise, ever since the original Warcraft real-time strategy games, Blizzard has been known for poke noises. If you click a character multiple times, they utter stranger and funnier things each time, some even getting rather annoyed. This was in StarCraft Games 2, World of Warcraft and Heroes is no different. So here are Stukov's poke lines along with a little context.
Speak freely. There is no need for formality. I am a master of unconventional warfare. Everything about what I have become disgusts me, but that does not mean I intend to stop fighting. I'd be more nihilistic if I wasn't so fatalistic.
A little philosophy joke there.
When my arm grows, it is very painful. Thank you for reminding me. On the plus side, I've gotten very good at arm wrestling lately. Is it hot to anyone else? Oh, I wish I could take off this jacket.
So like Kerrigan's high-heeled boot-type feet, she's evolved as Queen of Blades. This is another StarCraft in-joke about this section of Stukov's jacket that you can see on his body. Now, is it fused on there? Has it been grown as an organic thing when he was infested by the Zerg? Can he remove it? Can he not remove it? He says he can't. The practicalities of Stukov's Admiral jacket are much joked about amongst StarCraft fans.
While Duran was experimenting on me, I used to tell myself it could always get worse. Then, it got worse. A virus is neither alive nor dead. It is other, existing only to plague and control the living. I know the feeling. Who put this "I'm with Stukov" sign on my back? Was that you? Not funny. Don't click there, it sends shivers down what used to be my spine. Come to think of it, the last time I went to the gym, I did skip leg day, and other arm day. Canada, who is that? And why do I want to crush him? For my enemy, the day Stukov infested their team was the most horrifying experience of their lives. To me, it was Tuesday.
Now, the "it was Tuesday" meme is quite long established from Street Fighter in 1994 in terms of End Bison visiting someone's village and loads of things. It's used in loads of places. For you, this was the most significant place and thing in your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Okay, time for Stukov's interactions before Heroes of the Storm matches start. Remember, the Nexus in Heroes brings together characters from all Blizzard's games and universes, so you get to see both a few fun references to each hero's home universe and how they might mix if Overwatch met Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and a whole bunch more. Stukov's of course a StarCraft hero, so he mainly interacts with the StarCraft cast, although he does have a little interaction with the usual Nexus favourites as well. For the Terrans, Lieutenant Morales was one of the first officers deployed during the UED's invasion. Sometime after the fall of the UED Expeditionary Fleet, Morales joined the Terran Dominion under Mengsk and retained her rank as lieutenant in the Dominion Navy Medical Corps. It's probably for this reason that Stukov calls her a traitor to the UED, but he's realistic that, like the medic, he's probably not exactly a saint either in this conflict.
Lieutenant Morales, I could call you a traitor, but aren't we all?
Sure hope this healing beam works on whatever you are. Great. I gotta work with you?
Come now, Lieutenant. Is that any way to speak to your former Vice Admiral?
As for the Zerg, well, Abathur was the evolution master created by the original controlling force of the Zerg, the Overmind. He's kind of the DNA library. Kerrigan re-recruits it in her outing in StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, and as a result, Stukov has worked alongside Abathur in StarCraft 2, so he's familiar with the Evolution Master's methods.
The Evolution Master? I am surprised to see you so close to actual combat.
Conversation superfluous. Focus upon combat. Prepared for combat.
Survival is what I'm best at.
As one of the Swarm's brood mothers, Zagara was actually created on the Zerg world of Char by Kerrigan herself. Stukov again fought alongside Zagara in StarCraft 2, and him referring to her as Overqueen is when Zagara takes up the rank in controlling the Zerg after the events of StarCraft 2 complete and the Nova Covert Operations mission pack.
Our paths cross once again, Overqueen Zagara.
We will evolve and we will conquer. Finally, a suitable ally.
If only I felt likewise.
When he originally arrived in the Kaprulu sector, Kerrigan was the arch enemy that Stukov was fighting amongst the Terrans and the Protoss as well. The two share something in that they both had humanity taken from them by the Zerg and allied in Heart of the Swarm. Teaming up to overcome common enemies, they're on a little bit more friendly terms now as a result.
The Queen of Blades. This should prove an amusing diversion.
You know, I just hate it if you got in my way. My vengeance is at hand.
Doubtful.
Stukov also has some general interactions with Zerg, Protoss and Terrans.
Oh, good. The Protoss. I was hoping to get an indulgent lecture today. Terrans. I despise you almost as much as I despise myself. The Zerg. It seems not even here I can escape you. When the UED returns, I hope they crush you. Apologies, but, do I know you? You Zerg tend to blend together. My allegiance was to Kerrigan, not to you.
Now for some out-of-universe interactions with other heroes. For Zarya, well, as fellow Russians, the two have some interesting views on history, comrades, and reminiscence of the old country.
Greetings, comrade.
Comrade, for someone from the future, you are quite stuck in the past. Good to meet someone from the motherland in such a foreign place.
We should swap stories sometime. How I miss the green hills of our home.
As the Angel of Death from Diablo, Malthael seeks to restore balance through destruction of demons and humanity alike. Stukov, at times in his past, would certainly have embraced the release of death that Malthael offers.
The aspect of death. Perhaps after this, you can release me from my torment.
Death waits for no one.
Not for me.
And last but not least, Murky the Murloc. Well, he gets a rough ride from Stukov like he does from most HOTS characters. At least we know what infested Terrans like to eat.
Am I truly to wage war with a prepubescent fish at my side? I have better things to do than socialize with dinner.
Stukov also has a few general positive, negative, angry and dismissive interactions and responses, which are here.
A cyborg. You must come from a time before Project Purification. How very interesting. There was a time I would have considered you and your kind degenerates. Ironic. So, we are working together, I see. Try not to disappoint me. Ah, it is good to see you, my friend. Do not play with fire. You will get burned. Your permission to speak has been revoked. Get lost! You can't compare with my powers. Well, at least your corpse wasn't shot into space before they changed their mind. I will be victorious with or without you. Together we will be unstoppable.
And finally, Stukov's kill lines, which he cites when he kills a variety of heroes. These include Abathur, Dehaka, Kerrigan, Morales, Protoss, Sergeant Hammer, Terrans, Zagara, Zarya, Zerg, and a whole bunch more.
I never liked that slug. 57 to 43, my favor. What are you to a man who feels no fear? Consider this my resignation. You are dismissed, Lieutenant. I'm not impressed, alien. I've never been a fan of siege tanks. Ha! Enough! Your killing spree is over. Backwater peasants, all of you. What on earth was that? The infested serve no queen. Do svidaniya. What is a beast before a monster?
Thanks for tuning in to my Stukov Lore voice lines and interactions vid, showing off his voice lines and a bit of his story for Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft. Please do let me know what you thought, whether you're a Heroes fan, Overwatch, StarCraft or otherwise, in the comments below, and throw a like if you enjoyed. Do let me know any Heroes of the Storm heroes you'd like to see next in the comments. I do a lot of Overwatch lore, hero voice lines and interactions too. Do check out those in the playlists below, and throw a sub if you'd like to see more. Cheers for tuning in, I've been Hammy, take it easy.